Hello guys, and welcome to this video tutorial. Now in this video tutorial on Code Africa, we are going to write a C++ code that will accept exam score, that is 5 of them. And after it accepts those exam score, what it's going to do is to go ahead and find the average of those scores. After that, it will find the minimum, and it will lastly find the maximum of those scores. Pay attention as we go through this program. Now in this program, we are going to need our for loops for that. And if you don't know what for loops are, then what you need to do is you have to visit my YouTube channel and check out what we have over there. We have a lot of videos, tutorials trending on C++. Also, you can also go ahead and like my Facebook page, which is going to help you in your programming skills. Okay, so let's go ahead and start building a program that will help us find the average of 5 scores, the minimum and the maximum score. Now in this program, we are going to need some loops for that, and I will be using the for loops. So let's get started by declaring some variables. And first of all, I will declare global variables. I like global variables because they can be accessed from anywhere. I have int average, and int average, I'll set it equals nothing. I'll have int total score, and total score, I'll set it equal 0. Okay, now after these two variables, I'll go inside my main and I'm going to declare an array that I'll give the array the opportunity to take 5 integers. Okay, so I'll say int score, and I will allow 5 numbers in there like so. Okay, now after this, I'm going to perform my first for loop. Okay, so I'll say for, and I'll do something like int b equals 0. Remember, we are dealing with arrays now, so I will set b equals 0, b less than 5, and b plus plus, incrementing it 1 by 1. Now after this, I'll prompt the user to do something, so cout, and I'll tell the user please enter 5 scores like so. Okay, and I will just terminate over here. Now after this, I'm going to give an opportunity for the user to input in something, so I'll say cin, then I'll give the input to the score, and remember the score is an array. Okay, so I'll give the index over here, so as it loops through b, it will give the score an opportunity to allow the user to enter in 5 input. Okay, so I'll just terminate also this one over here. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to, first of all, for me to get the average, I'm going to call my total score and set that equals the total score plus the new score that the user will input. Okay, so I'll say total score equals total score plus score, that is the new score that the user will input over here. Now after this, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to perform another loop, and what this for loop is going to do is, this for loop is just going to print out my arrays for me. Okay, so I mean what the user will input into that array. So I'll say for, and this time around I'll use int a equals 0 because we are still dealing with arrays and I like using 0. A is less than 5, and I'll say a plus plus. Okay, and I'll open a body for my loop, and I'm going to print out the score, so I'll say score a. Okay, then I have to end line, which is appropriate. Alright, so step by step we are gradually building our program that will help us find the average, minimum and the maximum number of our score entered. Okay, so let me go ahead, build and run this, and let's see what we've got. But first of all, let me output my total score. Okay, so I'll say total score equals outputting rather, so C out, and I'll say total score is, then I'll set that equals total score over here like so. And with this I'm going to end line, and I'll end line once again for me to get a very neat code. Okay, now let me go ahead, build and run this, and let's see what we've got in our console. So build and run, and I have in my console, please enter 5 scores. Okay, so my first score is 1, enter 5 scores. I think the output isn't right. Okay, I'll change that later. That and that. Okay, so it will print out the scores I entered, and it will print the total for those scores. Okay, now let me change this to something appropriate. I'll say something like, please enter your score, instead of 5 scores. Okay, so this is better now. Now let's go ahead and give out the average for this program. Okay, so what I'll do is I will set the average, which is on line 7 over here, equal to the new total divided by 5. Remember, the inputs are 5, so for us to find the average we need to divide that by 5. So I'll say total equals, so I'll say average equals, okay, then total score divided by 5, like so. Okay, so the average now is equal to total score, which is 0 now, divided by 5. Okay, now when this program gets here, it's going to add the input to the 0 which is over here, so it ends this loop over here. Okay, so whatever we will get is going to come here also, and it will divide that by 5, which will give us the average. Okay, so after this we can print out the average to the user. So C out, and I'll say something like average is, and I'll print out the average to the user. Okay, and again I'm going to end line twice, another end line. Okay, now let me build and run this program again. Build and run, and enter your scores. Okay, first score 1, second 2, 3, 4 and 5. Now it prints out my input. After that it gives me the total of the input, then it will show me the average over here. Okay, so guys, I'm ending this tutorial over here because I don't have time on my side, and I'm going to do a part 2 of this tutorial that will allow us to find the minimum and the maximum of those scores. So see you in my next tutorial. Bye.